Hello, everyone. This lecture is about the old classic maxim in writing, show, don't tell. This is the secret to evocative storytelling. Basically, what you do is you weave what you're trying to say into your writing rather than just bluntly coming out with a statement about what's going on. And in fact, let's look at a definition of show and don't tell. Through character, actions, and speech, atmosphere and environment, even through the emotions and thoughts of your characters, demonstrate what could be stated more bluntly through a simple declaration of the facts. In other words, show through describing the situation and the environment, what's going on. Show what you're trying to convey instead of just telling what you're trying to convey. Maybe a few examples would help. Let me show you some ways to do this. First, describe the results of past actions. For instance, Brannigan had yet to compensate for the absence of the thumb he'd lost in Laredo during a particularly vicious bar fight. Now, we didn't have to say, Brannigan is a brawler. Brannigan has a missing thumb. Well, we did say Brannigan has a missing thumb, but we wanted to convey that Brannigan is a fighter. And he's been in some vicious fights. Rather than saying Brannigan was a fighter and he'd been in some vicious fights, this is what I said. He was missing a thumb that he'd lost in a particularly vicious fight in Laredo. That's a pretty dramatic way to say that Brannigan is a fighter. Demonstrate feelings through action. Consider this. Brannigan gently stroked the cheek of the sleeping child, allowing a rare smile to grace his lips. Here we learn two things. Well, he feels something for the child, which is rare for a brawler, and the smile on his face is even rarer. This is a person who doesn't smile. We showed instead of saying. I could have said, Brannigan felt a great deal for the child, even though he didn't want to show it. That might not have been a bad way to say it, but this was a way to show it. I am showing that he feels for this child by the fact that he's gently stroking the cheek while she sleeps. And the rare smile. She makes him smile, which rarely happens. Consider these demonstrations. Demonstrate the environment through actions. Brannigan felt shivers rack his body as he leaned well into the wind to remain standing. What do you think the weather's like? Inclement? I could say the weather was inclement, or I could show that the weather is inclement through Brannigan's shivers that racked his body and the fact that he has to lean into the wind to stay standing. Create suspense by hinting rather than showing. This is a subtlety to showing. Brannigan heard the floor creak as he drew himself further into the shadows, unsure of what was approaching from beyond. Wow, we're not showing it this time, but we're hinting at it. Creaking floors, we're showing various things to build dread and suspense, which we'll be talking about. Now, show and don't tell is one of the fundamentals of writing, and we're going to be working it a lot into this section, so you're going to see many more examples. This should be enough to give you the idea. And basically, what we're talking about is, whenever possible, show the cold, the horror, the pain, rather than telling the reader about it. And show it through describing your characters and various things that are feeling these things. So, as I said, in further lectures in this section, we're going to cover other aspects of show and don't tell. That's it for now. And coming up next is character and backstory development. I'll see you there.